Welcome back, everyone, to the Bears Profit Plays podcast. Today is November 11th. Happy Veterans Day. Today is Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day, guys. We have a full slate of weekend football to preview here. Joining me, as always, we have Trey Trends.
What's up,
And
guys?
joining us today, former D2 club baseball star Jacob Teats. How are we doing
What's
today,
up?
guys?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Pretty good. That's good to hear.
Well, Jesse, if you remember, whenever we recorded our Maction videos, my AC was out, and the AC is still out.
Oh, they didn't get
Oh,
that fixed, huh?
No, they gave me a big window, and I guess it wasn't big enough.
Oh, geez. Well, that's fun to
Yes.
hear.
Thankfully, the temperature dropped down to 30, so at least it's good right now. We got the windows open, but the last couple of days, whenever it was like mid 70s, it was a little rough, but thankfully, it's better now.
Nice. Before we get into this weekend's games, though, I want to discuss how you guys did on the weekday games. I know we had a lot of action plays Tuesday and Wednesday. Trey, I'm going to start with you. How'd the action treat you?
The first night on Wednesday went 2-1. Thursday 2-1, or no, was that Tuesday, Wednesday?
Tuesday, Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah, Tuesday and Wednesday, I both went 2-1. So it was a good game. It was a profitable week for me. Yesterday was a little rough. I had the Falcons money line, and so that was a little rough. And I also had Georgia Southern plus 3.5. They got blown out, but at least I won with Memphis. They covered the spread against Tulsa, so it was a all right day yesterday.
Yeah, and going back to the action, for me, I went 2-0 on Tuesday night, 2-1 on Wednesday night. That brings my record to 8-1 on the action. The huge comeback by Central Michigan was electric to watch.
It was.
And yeah, the Kent State game of the year, I made it the lock of the year in the action. They won 40-6, wasn't even close, minus
Say-
2.5. But yeah,
One of our viewers, Brett, he put out a challenge to you. He said, "I'm betting Kent State because of you, and if it fails, you have to go take the ACT." Thankfully, Kent State covered, and you didn't have to go take the ACT. I don't know if you saw that in our comment section, but
no, I didn't.
yeah. So thankfully, you had to sweat that one for about 2 minutes into the game.
2 minutes. But Teats, how'd your week go?
oh, not too bad. I mean, Tuesday was kind of my main day for betting. Honestly, I went against my own word, and in one of my bet slips, I took Miami, Ohio plus 8.5. I did an alternate spread, thinking, it's Miami, Ohio. It should be a close game. No, I'm an idiot. That's what it comes down to. I'm an idiot. Other than that, last night didn't go so well either. Some key players I was thinking was going to score did not, but I mean, what do you expect for Thursday night football?
True.
Especially whenever there was a monsoon there. I heard that about
Yeah.
an hour before the game, and I was like, well, good thing I didn't bet the over on it.
Yep.
Yeah, the weather was horrible last night. But all right, let's get into the weekend games. Starting on Saturday, we're going to start with number 7, LSU minus 3.5 versus Arkansas. The over/under is 62.5. This game is interesting. LSU coming off a stellar performance against Alabama, winning that game in the end. We all saw it. They went for 2. Congratulations to LSU. Knocked Bama out of the playoffs for now, but it's Bama. The name recognition, they might get back in. Jaden Daniels, you guys both know I love him. He's electric to watch. He's the entire LSU offense, but I'm a little worried of a letdown spot here. I'm going to start with Trey. Trey, what do we think on this game?
Well, these are two teams moving in two different directions with the trends that I'm about to give you. So I'll just start off by saying LSU minus 3.5. LSU is 6-2 ATS in their last 8 games, while Arkansas is 2-5 ATS in their last 7 games. LSU is 6-2 ATS versus a team with a winning record, while Arkansas is 1-5 ATS versus a team with a winning record. So the trends are telling me LSU minus 3.5. Jesse, Daniels is a stud. He could play his way into the Heisman if they win out. Who knows? So I'm going to go LSU minus 3.5.
Yeah, I was reading a story that pick kind of concerns me a little bit because of where the money's at. But yesterday I saw a story. LSU is the highest bet on side so far this year in college football. This week, more money action on them than 22 of the 28 teams playing on Sunday. So I'm a little worried where the money's at, but I think LSU is the correct side. I'm going to go ahead and do the over 62.5. Arkansas's offense can score, and Arkansas defense is bad. So LSU is probably going to put up 40 in this game. So I'm going to take the over 62.5. Teats, what do you have?
And hey, I will say this before Teats goes. Arkansas lost last week to Liberty. Liberty's nowhere near LSU, so I think that's probably why people are hammering LSU. But there could always be a letdown game, but we'll see what Brian Kelly does. Go ahead, Teats.
I'll say I was actually going to mention that too. So looking at the past 2 games for LSU, they've had back-to-back top 10 wins. They took down Ole Miss, and then they took down Alabama last week. And yeah, Liberty beat Arkansas last week, and Liberty is a good team, but they're not a SEC like dominating type team. So I
Yeah, they
don't know
don't got
about
Malik
that.
Willis no more either.
They don't, dude. I I kind of feel like this is a trap game. KJ Jefferson's getting back healthy. I feel like LSU, even though I was looking for injury reports, they didn't seem to be too banged up after the Bama game. I just feel like they're going to be riding too high after this one. I'm going to actually go with Arkansas plus 3.5.
Wow, Arkansas pick. I will back you up with that pick, Teats. Arkansas is averaging 37.3 points per game in the last 3 games, so it could be a battle, but I'm leaning towards LSU. But let's move on. Let's go number 10, Alabama versus number 11, Ole Miss. Alabama is minus 11.5. The over/under is 64.5. Teats, I'm going to start with you on this one.
You know, it's funny because every time I've ever seen Alabama in a situation like this, it's typically closer to the bowl time. Yeah. And it comes down to, does Alabama want to finish out their season, or are they just going to give up and just call it for next year? I think that Alabama goes into Ole Miss and gets a loss. I'm taking Ole Miss plus 11.5, honestly. I would probably take the money line as well.
I love it.
I think that, I mean, the thing is it's such a polar situation. Either Alabama's going to come in and absolutely obliterate Ole Miss, or they're going to come in super flat from their losses and just continue their downward trend.
Yeah, and Alabama this season on the road, not great, guys. They should have lost to Texas early. They won that game 20-19, and they're coming off 2 road losses to Tennessee and LSU. Ole Miss is not a gimme game for them. This is their Super Bowl. Ole Miss probably won't make the playoffs, and they want to win this game. So I'm going to take Ole Miss plus the 11.5 at home. Trey, what do you have?
Come on, guys. Have you guys not learned from watching Alabama under Nick Saban after a loss? I'm going to give you guys a few trends. Alabama is 5-0 ATS after a loss. That's probably like a 5-year stat because they haven't lost 5 games in I don't know how long. But Ole Miss, and you said Alabama's terrible on the road. Ole Miss is just as bad at home. Ole Miss is 1-6 ATS in their last 7 home games. And Ole Miss has only covered 1 game in their last 6 games. So I'm going to go Alabama minus 11.5 there. I think that they're going to be pissed off that they lost to LSU last week, and they're going to blow out Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, and Teats said it. Either Alabama's going to thump them or Alabama's going to lay down and die, and they usually don't lay down and die. So it'll be an interesting game on that one. Yeah. We're moving on to number 24, Washington versus number 6, Oregon. Oregon is minus 13.5 at home. The over/under is set at 72.5. I'm going to start. Vegas is giving the over bettors a challenge here, and challenge accepted, Vegas, because I'm taking the over. Oregon has scored 40-plus points in 8 straight games, and Washington love to give up points. Michael Phoenix Jr. for Washington is going to score against this Oregon Ducks defense. Oregon alone should hit 50. Bo Nix is having a great season for the Ducks. I'm going to take the over, and I'm going to take the Ducks because the Ducks need to win this game to get in the playoffs. Ducks minus 13.5, over 72.5. And the Ducks over team total points. I don't think it's out yet, but I'll probably take it. It'll be at like 47.5 probably, but I'm still going to take it. Pete, what about you?
Oh, so this is kind of where we're gonna kind of go a separate way. I do agree with the over for the 72.5. I really do. Bo Nix has been playing out of his mind. I actually think he's got his name into the Heisman candidate hopeful right now. And yeah, no, Oregon literally has not scored less than 40 points since their week 1 loss against Oregon or against Georgia. So they've been absolutely on fire, and they absolutely have been smashing everyone they've played. However, even though Washington has had some close wins against Arizona, against California, a loss against Arizona State, I just feel like this is going to be one of those things where it's going to be a trap game. I feel like everything says Oregon. Everything makes sense for Oregon. I'm going to go against it. I'm going Washington plus 12.5.
Yeah, and I don't hate the Washington pick because everything's trending towards Oregon, but again, Oregon needs this game to get in the playoffs, so I think they'll put their best foot forward. Trey, what about you?
I'm going to agree with Jesse here. Oregon's going to need to dominate this game. They're ranked 6th, and they need to start putting statement wins together because the Pac-12 doesn't have very many quality opponents, and Washington might be the second best team in the Pac-12. Well, I guess there's USC, but I'm going to hammer Oregon minus 12.5. I had it 13.5, but it dropped a point, so I'm going to hammer that even more. Oregon is 5-0 ATS in their last 5 games. Washington is 0-5 ATS in their last 5 games. Oregon is 6-0 ATS in their last 6 home games. Washington is 0-4 ATS in their last 4 road games. So what does that tell you? Oregon's going to dominate this game. Washington can't cover on the road. Oregon covers all the time at home. They need to start making statement wins. They're going to win this game by 2 touchdowns easily.
Yeah, and I think if Oregon wins this game, it'll be a USC versus UCLA matchup next week, I believe. And that team will play Oregon in the Pac-12 championship to, in my opinion, go to the playoffs. It'll be 2 9-1 teams playing each other. So Oregon needs this win bad. Let's move on. I think this is the best game of the week. Number 4 TCU versus number 18 Texas. Texas -7. Over under is 64.5. Texas at home -7 against the number 4 TCU. Horned Frogs. Trey, what do we think on this game?
Well, I'm kind of depressed because both these teams beat K-State, and K-State should be ranked in the playoff, but it is what it is. They had a rough season, but I'm going to go TCU plus 7.5 here. They've been covering Warriors this year, and I think that they have the opportunity in front of them. As of right now, they are in the playoff. Texas might be their biggest opponent so far this season, and Texas is 5-1 ATS at home. That's the only thing that worries me, is that they are great at home. But TCU is 4-1 ATS in their last 5 games in Austin, so TCU doesn't stand down to Texas. And TCU is also 6-2 ATS in their last 8 games against Texas, and TCU is 7-1-1 ATS in their last 9 games. So TCU has been very great at covering this year. I'm surprised that the spread's so high to 7.5. I don't know what Texas has done to kind of make them favored by a touchdown, but so I'll take TCU plus the points.
Yeah, and you said it. Texas -7.5 makes no sense whatsoever. I will say, though, TCU has caught a lot of breaks this season. I think the last 5 games they've played, the quarterback for the opposing team has gone out with injury. That's just a good – they had a lot of good comebacks. Your K-State Wildcats came back against them. The spread -7, it's very weird to me, so I'm going to stay away from the side on this game, and I'm going to take the over. It's my overs week. 64.5 points with these two teams seems like nothing. Bijan Robinson will probably have 4 touchdowns alone. So yeah, I'll take the over 64.5. Teats, what do we think?
You know, I'm not mad, but I'm disappointed that I made this my members lock, because let me tell you, I'm ready to go in on this one, but you guys are just gonna have to read about it whenever I get that article out.
Yep, BearsProfitPlays.com, member locks. Become a member, see all those locks from us. We're moving on to Sunday, guys. We're going to start early Sunday morning. Seahawks versus Buccaneers in Munich, Germany. Tampa Bay is -2.5. Over under is 44.5. Teats, what do you have on this game?
You know, I'm just gonna I'm going with it. I'm going with Seahawks plus 2.5. I don't think the Buccaneers are good this year. You know, like Geno is seeming like he's completely stepped into Russell Wilson's spot and has been a better leader than even before. And Tom Brady, although he seems like he's trying his best, dude, the Bucs around him, they're not doing it for him. Like, they had to have a last-second drive against a Rams team who is also playing about as bad as they can to win the game. So I'm going to go Seattle side on this one. I am looking at some player props. There's not a whole lot out right now. For now, I'm kind of looking at potentially. I'm staying away from Mike Evans. Every week we talk about the Bucs. I go Evans anytime touchdown, staying away from it. So that means you should probably hammer that, because I don't bet it. It's probably going to hit. I'm looking at Kenneth Walker III for anytime scorer.
Okay, I like it. This game, strictly going off from what I saw last week with Tampa, and what I saw last week was Tom Brady's back, and he's in his prime, because that final drive was electric by him to beat the Rams. I don't like Tampa Bay, but I'm just going off the eyeball test in this game. Prime Brady's back. I'm going to take Tampa -2.5, and they're probably going to kill me, but I think Buccaneers are the right bet here. Trey, what do we have?
Well, our loyal viewer, Brett Zaccarello, says not so fast. Seahawks is the play. And I'm going to have to agree with him there, because Seattle has been absolutely covering machines. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay can't seem to get out of their way. I know that they turned up last week, but I'm not willing to bet on them yet. The Seahawks are 4-0 ATS in their last 4 games. Seattle is 4-1 ATS in the last 5 games versus NFC opponents. And the Bucs are 0-6-1 ATS in their last 7 games. So I'm staying away from them. I'm going to go Seattle plus 2.5, easy money there.
Yeah, and I'm fine with Lone Wolf in this game. It makes sense because it's Tampa, but I'll take the Lone Wolf for this game. Let's move on. Vikings versus Buffalo. Injury report's big on this one. Josh Allen has not practiced all week, so it's pretty simple. I'm going to take the Vikings plus 3.5 if Allen isn't playing. I think Keenum is a fine backup for the Bills. It is Case Keenum, correct?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. But I can't believe I'm going to say this. Kirk Cousins is kind of a dog, right?
Yeah.
And what's crazier, his teammates like him. He was decked out in chains, dancing on that plane, the viral video. The Vikings believe this year, and they believe in Kirk Cousins. So I'm going to take the Vikings plus the 3.5 if Josh Allen's not playing. If Josh Allen's playing, obviously the bet's chalked. So anything can go. I think if Allen plays, it'll more like be Buffalo minus the 2.5 or 3.5. But for now, I'll take the Vikings plus 3.5. Trey, what do we have?
You would think that Vegas thinks he's playing, right?
Right. Yeah.
Which is weird because everything that I've heard from NFL reporters on like ESPN has been saying that they don't think he's going to play. They think that the Bills are going to be conservative with him. I don't know, but I do know that I'm going to go under the 42.5. The under is 6-0 in the Bills' last 6 games, and the under is 4-0 ATS in their last 4 games versus a team with a winning record. So the Bills' offense is elite. We all know that, but their defense might even be better. Their defense shows up every game, especially against opponents with a winning record. So I'm going to go with the under 42.5 there.
Yeah, I don't dislike the underplay here, especially if Case Keenum goes. But Teats, what do we have?
See, I'm going a different direction. I think that if Case Keenum plays, I don't think it matters. I'm going to hit the over on this one, 42.5.
Yeah.
It's going to be weird. Are we going to see the Case Keenum that we saw like at Denver? Or are we going to see him when he was coming up in Minnesota? Like we'll see what we get. But I think Case Keenum is a pretty solid backup that he's going to be that type of dude that's going to step in, have 1 or 2 games of over 300 yards passing for no reason whatsoever. And then and the Bills are going to be able to rest Josh Allen longer so that he can get fully healthy.
Okay. I don't hate it. Keenum's the guy, apparently. All right, we're moving on. My Dallas Cowboys, -5 versus the Green Bay Packers. Over-under is set at 43. What? This is why we do the show live, people. My dog is literally staring at me taking a dump on the ground right now. So
no freaking way, dude.
So, Trey, I'm going to let you kick this off, and I'm going to go clean this up.
Teats, if this doesn't happen whenever we bring up the Cowboys, I don't know. I don't know. But all right, I'll take over. And we got a viewer saying them boys -13.5. He's going alternate spread.
That's wild.
He says they're winning by 2 touchdowns against the Green Bay Packers. And honestly, at this point, I wouldn't think that would be a bad bet. Aaron Rodgers has looked absolutely terrible. But for that reason, I'm going to go with the under 43.5. The Packers are struggling to move the ball. Dak is somewhat injured right now, so I think that they could struggle to score points. And Zeke's back, so we know that their running game is not going to be as electric. The under is 5-1 in the last 6 games in Green Bay between these two teams. The under is 6-2-1 in the Cowboys' last 9 games, and the under is 7-3 in the Packers' last 10 games. Oh, real quick, we got Britt Zaccarella saying them boys, deaf boys, -7. We got Jesse's back. Jesse's back.
Wait, what?
Trey, what was your pick? Sorry.
Under 43.5.
Under 43.5. Well, I don't usually do this, but viewer discretion advised. I'm going to show you what my dog just pooped out. Can you guys see this? Can we see this in the back? Everybody got it?
That looks like a big old pile.
The Green Bay Packers are the worst team in the NFL. Packers, 5 straight losses, 4 of which to teams that didn't make the playoffs last season. I've given Aaron Rodgers so much time, it's disgusting. I've given him time. He's got my respect, but the respect's gone. The Packers are horrible now. Dallas is going to go into Lambeau and stomp Green Bay. I don't think Aaron Jones will play in this game. So here it is. 2 days ago, I gave them action lock of the year. That hit 40-6. Today, November 11th, I am predicting November 13th, Dallas Cowboys 31-9 in a rout. The Dallas Cowboys off a bye. Micah Parsons is healthy. He's gonna get to Aaron Rodgers 4 times. He's gonna get to Aaron Rodgers 4 times in this game. And Matt LaFleur is gonna have a decision. He's gonna say, do I want to have Aaron Rodgers taken off in an ambulance, or do I want to put in Jordan Love? Because this game is gonna get ugly, and it's gonna get ugly fast. Dallas Cowboys -5, lock of the year, lock of the NFL. Book it.
Jesse, your score prediction is probably so right that FanDuel doesn't even have it. They have everything besides 31-9. They have 31-6, 31-7,
Yeah,
31-10. They know. I love that. And honestly, I love that play. The Packers have looked absolutely terrible. I love that your dog is somehow shitting out paper.
It was
Yeah.
Green Bay. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Take out the trash.
We got the comments going wild. They all agree, though. All the
Yeah.
comments are agreeing. Dallas
Hey.
Cowboys, big here.
True Blue Nation in the chat. Teats, I cut you off. Teats, what's your pick for this game? And it better not be against Dallas.
I don't even know what to think right now. I'm
Yeah.
just, oh my God. Yeah, no, I'm going the boys minus 4.5.
Mhm.
I'm also looking, both defense are pretty stout. I mean, Jair Alexander's pretty solid for Green Bay. I'm looking at Michael Gallup over 3.5 receptions as well. I'm going to stay away from CD. I'm staying away from Alan Lazard. He's going to be completely shut down. I'm looking at Michael Gallup, 4 catches plus, 45 yards, touchdown. That's kind of what I'm looking at.
I don't hate it. So Cowboys -5, and the under. 31-9 was my predicted score, so they all hit. All right, moving on to Sunday Night Football. Chargers versus 49ers. The 49ers are -7 at home. Over-under is 45.5. Teats, I'll start with you on this game. Sunday Night Football, what do you have?
Dude, this is one of those games. Like, the 49ers are back. Like, the 49ers are locked in. They're looking at making a playoff push. They're going to be the team in the NFC that I'm going to be worried about seeing going all the way to the Super Bowl. Jimmy Garoppolo's looking not too bad, honestly. That defense is doing better, and they got CMC who can literally run, throw, and catch touchdowns all night long. I'm going 49ers -7. I'm taking the over, and give me CMC over whatever his receiving yards are too. I'm locked in.
Locked in on CMC. I love the picks, Teats. And I'm going to continue on the trend of 49ers -7. I won't willingly take the Chargers until they win a meaningful game. The last 3 wins for the Chargers, Atlanta, Denver, and Houston. And Atlanta literally recovered a fumble and dropped the ball, gave them the win. Nobody touched the Atlanta guy on that return, and he literally just dropped the ball for the Chargers win. So I'm going to go 49ers -7 on Sunday Night Football. I think they're the way more dominant team. But let's see what Trey has on trends. Trey?
I'm going to buy a half point. I'm going to take the 49ers -6.5.
Okay.
I don't ever like a push situation, and it's only -128. So I'm going to buy the half point. Chargers are going to be without Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen has not practiced all week, so I assume he's going to be out. And that means 2 things. Austin Eckler, anytime touchdown score, and 49ers big. 49ers are 6-1 ATS in their last 7 home games. The 49ers are 6-1 ATS in their last 7 versus a team with a winning record. And the Chargers are 2-10 ATS in their last 12 games in November. Chargers never finish strong. We all know that. I'm going to go 49ers -6.5 here.
All right, everybody on the 49ers. That means the Chargers win outright. Here we go. All right.
No way.
That is the end of our show, but we do have a new segment and our bet slip coming up. The new segment, before we get into bet slips, we have the podcast parlay locks. New segment on the show. Everybody's going to give their parlay lock for the weekend that they like, and we're going to take it together, and hopefully we win. But I'll start. UNC versus Wake Forest is mine, over 77.5. What I did was very analytic here for me. I went down the college line, and I saw which game was the highest over total, and I took it because Vegas is not going to get me to take an under. I'm going to take the over. Wake can't stop anybody. UNC can't stop anybody. Both offenses are really good, so I'm going to take the over 77.5. Trey, it looks like you're the next game.
Yeah, I'm going to go with James Madison -7.5. They came into the top 25 rankings for the first time in a while 2 weeks ago, and I've lost 2 games in a row, and I've kind of struggled. But I'm going to go them with -7.5 here. James Madison is 9-0 ATS in our last 9 games versus teams with losing records. Old Dominion is 0-4 ATS in our last 4 home games, and Old Dominion is 1-5 ATS in our last 6 games overall.
Very nice.
I think James Madison is the best team in their conference. I think they're in the Conference USA. So I think that they should win this game by a touchdown easily. So I'm not worried about the extra half point there.
All right. And then Teats, Lions versus Bears. Over 48.5 looks like.
Oh, yeah, lock it in, dude. I mean, Justin Fields has just shown that he can actually produce some points for the offense. He's absolutely electric on the run. I did not expect him to be able to be putting up running back numbers. Now, let's not get going with the whole he's a running back, not a quarterback. This isn't Lamar Jackson over here. And, dude, the Lions offense, they've been off. Like, they've been off the same page for a while. I think they can lock it in. Everyone's getting healthy. Lions offense, there's no defense there. Bears offense is coming alive. 49 points is not a lot.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Saying so does Brett. He says Bears over. He bet it
Let's
last
run
week,
it
and he
back.
says let's run it back. I love that.
The great bet. All right, let's move into our bet slips for this weekend's games. I guess I'm going first. Save the best for first. My bets this weekend, I have not on here member picks. I'll be breaking down Kansas State versus Baylor and the Lions versus the Bears on bearsprofitplays.com. If you're a member, you'll get access to that. If you're not a member, all we do is give out free money over there. So become a member on bearsprofitplays.com. First game I'm going to get into is Iowa versus Wisconsin, the under 35.5. I've been praising overs all day long, but Iowa and Wisconsin are two of the worst offenses in college football. And again, as Vegas says, I'm going to challenge you for the over. They're challenging people on the under here. They want them to take the over. I'm going to take the under. I have a predicted score in the Big Ten game, 9-6 in this game. Wisconsin 9-6, and if it's available, take a no touchdown prop in this game just to make it interesting because nobody really wants to watch a 9-6 game. So take the no touchdown prop in this game to make it interesting for you guys. Washington versus Oregon, we already discussed. I'm on the over 72 and Oregon. LSU versus Arkansas, we already discussed, but I'm going to add LSU money line. They're going to win this game because they have to win this game. The line kind of worries me a little bit, and all the money on LSU, but they're going to win the game. In the over 62.5, Dallas versus Packers, already discussed. Lock of the month, lock of the year, lock of the nation. In the NFL, Dallas -5. It'll probably be 4.5 by the end of this, but Dallas -5 for now. Commanders versus Eagles. Everybody lean in. Everybody get close to the camera. I'm going to say something. Somebody record it. Somebody clip it and ship it. The Eagles are a good football team. Now that I said
Yes,
that,
sir.
I
Yes,
just
sir.
want to bomb it all over the place. But now I'm going to shit on them a little bit, okay?
I'm
The
listening.
Eagles this year are 8-0, right? Here's who they've beaten. The Lions by 3, Kirk Cousins in primetime, Carson Wentz poverty, Trevor Lawrence probably their best win of the year, Cardinals without D-Hop, Cooper Rush, electric but bad, Kenny Pickett, and Davis Mills. Now they get Taylor Heineke. Do they have an easy schedule? Yes, they do. So good job being 8-0 because your opponents suck. All right. Commanders +11.
Dang.
Commanders +11. Too many points with Heineke. Heineke has sparked magic in the Commanders offense. I think they've won 3 in a row, haven't they?
They lost last week, I think, barely.
Yeah, that's a fluke game.
It was against the Vikings.
Yeah,
That's a
because
fluke game for Heineke. Also, Dan Snyder's selling the team, so they have something to play for now. Commanders +11, easy in this game. I would not be surprised if Commanders won the game. So take the +11, and I'm done.
All right, Teats, it
let's,
looks like you're up next there. I love that. But I guess before we go on to Teats, can someone in the comments please, send Bear a positive message? He needs, he needs to breathe in, breathe out. He seems a little bit stressed out about the Dallas game. Can someone just drop below? Bear, you're gonna get through this. It's gonna be okay.
Come Sunday when they win 31-9, I'll be less stressed.
All right, Teats, you're up, man.
All right, I'll start with college. I got Ohio State, Maryland. Dude, I'm taking Maryland +10. Ohio State did not look good against Northwestern. And the last time I went against Maryland, it was when they played Michigan, who I thought had one of the most impressive defenses in the NCAA. And Michigan won, but they did not cover. I feel like Maryland's going to just pull some shit out of their ass and just go +10. Oh, that's easy. Let's just do it. USC versus Colorado, I could not be more confident with. I think USC scores 72 by themselves. The over for 66, dude. I see that USC will score 56-60, and Colorado has to kick 2 field goals tops.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen is it's probably going to be a blocked field goal return
honestly.
for a touchdown, so that's easy.
Yeah.
Over here on the NFL side, Lions Bears, we already talked about it, over 48.5. That's a lock for me. That's my best bet probably ever. And the Vikings Bills, we talked about it. I'm going Vikings +5.5 here. I didn't talk about any line earlier. Can we look at that comment real quick?
Yeah.
Hey, I said clip it and ship it. I'm fine with it. When the Eagles suck this weekend, it'll be fine.
And Cam, I don't know if you listened to the requirements. I said a positive message. All right, this it's true. It's a true statement. But come on, he needs some love.
That was probably about the best positive message he can give him.
That's motivation for me to root for Dallas even more. That's fine.
But yeah, Vikings Bills. I did not give a line with this one, but I am giving a line here. I'm taking Vikings +5.5. I think that it's going to be a back and forth game. I think the line did change. Did it?
Yeah, I think it went
changed by 2
lower.
points.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's the Josh Allen effect, I guess.
it is the Josh Allen effect. If Josh Allen
Yeah,
plays,
plus 3.5
then
now.
I think that the Bills minus 3.5 is a good play. If Josh Allen doesn't play, if it's Case Keenum, I think Case Keenum can be electric, but I think Vikings plus 3.5. If you wanted to buy a couple points, plus 5.5 is a pretty good bet.
Yep.
I like that one. All right, and then I'm going to finish this off. I'm going to start on the college side. I got K-State versus Baylor. K-State plus 2.5. Everyone knows I'm a big K-State fan, but that's not affecting me here. The trends don't lie. The underdog is 6-1 ATS in the last 7 games between these two teams, and the road team is 6-0 ATS in the last 6 games between these two teams. So, I mean, I'm a K-State fan. I wouldn't have made him on my bet slip if I wasn't confident on him. So I like K-State plus 2.5. They'll probably win in Baylor as well. And then my next college game is going to be Georgia versus Mississippi State. I'm going to go under the 53.5 here. The under is 4-0 in Georgia's last 4 games overall. The under is 4-0 in Georgia's last 4 games versus a team with a winning record. Their defense shows up against good teams. The under is 6-1 in Mississippi State's last 7 home games versus a team with a winning record. So whenever big teams go to Mississippi State, Mississippi State's defense shows up. So I'm going to go under 53.5 in that game. And then let's go over to the NFL side. I got the Cowboys versus Packers. I talked about the under 43 earlier. The trends are too good there. We all talked about them. The under is 5-1 ATS in our last 6 games in Green Bay. I'm just going to give that one. And then the under 40.5, this might be the lock. Neither of these teams are trying to win. Well, I guess that means that each team might score 40 in this game. Who knows? But I'm going to go under the 40.5 in the Colts versus the Raiders. The under is 8-0 ATS in the Colts' last 8 road games. The under is 11-1 in the Colts' last 12 games versus the AFC opponents. And the under is 6-0 in the Colts' last 6 games following a loss. If you go and look at this on the trends for under in the Colts, it's a lot of 10-0, 9-1, 7-1, 6-0. Their team has not been good scoring the ball this year at all. The Raiders have struggled. They got shut out 2 weeks ago in New Orleans. So I don't think our offense is good at all. I'm a Raiders fan. So I'm going to go under 40.5 there as my final lock.
Yeah, and that toilet bowl is going to be fun to watch because the Colts hired a player as their head coach. So we'll see how that works out.
I love
Saturday.
Yeah, Jeff Saturday. So, and I think they're bringing back, I think Reggie Wayne's the receiver coach, and they'll probably bring back Robert Quinn as the D-line coach. So,
hey, I'm hoping they bring back Pat McAfee as special teams coordinator.
Pat McAfee.
Might as
Maybe
well.
Pat McAfee even punt. Who knows?
Yeah.
But, anyway, that's our show for today. If you guys enjoyed the content, make sure to like and subscribe. All of our links are in the description below. And remember, it's always easier to win bets with a bear on your side. We'll see you guys next time.
See you guys.